Hi everybody and welcome to SCNS Live, where we are already off the rails with the set literally falling apart. I of course am Kat Bradley, and with me is, she doesn't look prepared, so we have, who are you?
I'm that guy, Bryce Culver.
Heard of you.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Thanks for all the time you gave me.
Yeah. Okay, so
Tell us a bit about yourself.
A lot of entertainment and a lot of things falling.
Things fall apart, but you know what? We just roll with it. Tonight we're talking about horror, we're talking about Fan Expo, we're talking about our childhoods. We probably will just not talk about the inability of some figures to stand up. And on the other side of me, I'm pretty sure I know this one. But go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I still get to do it. Hi, I'm Cass. I'm totally here and focused and paying attention. Hello. Excited to be here.
I believe you.
Yeah,
anyway,
that wasn't very convincing, was it?
Yeah, not so much. Thanks for joining us in the chat on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. Over there tonight we have trying to remember how to work the boards and produce the show. We have Jason.
I'll have you know I am the consummate professional. I know everything I'm doing. Look at that. Lower third. Changed over to Jason, except for the one at the table. Don't mind that.
I was about to say,
I didn't feel
you
like
sure
changing
you want to be
it.
bragging right now?
Hey, Gore's not here, and we started on time.
There you go. True.
That's true.
So the fact that I was able to get everything done when Gore ain't here, y'all count your blessings, all right? We miss you. Hurry, come back, please. I've forgotten how to do this stuff.
It's his last hurrah as a producer, as it were.
How many drinks did it take you to get the show, running on time?
4.
1, 2,
I mean,
3.
what drinks? Like, I got some water.
Yeah.
Apple juice.
Apple juice.
See, look,
hydration.
That's my big cup.
Electrolytes.
It's got my name on it.
Congratulations.
It's so nobody else takes it in this house. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Nobody drink out of my cup.
You said in this house. You didn't say we couldn't take it.
That's true.
I'm sorry if the hype vid was too loud and chaotic, but
it was great. Never apologize for your art.
Yeah, okay.
Be Banksy.
Yeah.
Art is a giant stretch, but let's go ahead and kick it off with some nerd news. Jason, do you know how to roll that? Great. Cass, start us off.
Oh, thank you. Good. So in casting news, and I will stipulate, is that the right word? I think it is. I will stipulate that this is just a rumor at this point, but that Lady Gaga is being eyed for the role of Ursula in the live action version of The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is still definitely in the works right now. We have a composer for it. We have a songwriter in Lin-Manuel Miranda, whose shirt I'm wearing today. But we don't have a lot of things solidified so far. I will say that this has been met with some backlash. Lady Gaga is, as I guess we all know, a very petite woman. She's very, very small. She weighs probably less than I do. She's just real skinny. Ursula is not. And that there have been some concerns that I definitely understand about whether or not this will be an appropriate casting. I will say that we did get, I don't remember where it was. It was at the Bowl in LA, I think. Rebel Wilson did a version of Poor Unfortunate Souls that Kat and I both love.
That's amazing.
I don't think Rebel is old enough to play Ursula.
I don't think that we can do that.
You don't think so?
I'm fine with her being cast in this. I think we need to fix representation on a much grander scale than whether or not this person has enough body fat on them to play this role. You know what I mean?
I can understand that.
I understand people being upset about representation in general for different things, but already with comic book characters, we've kind of set some precedent in a healthy direction that this doesn't look exactly like the original in a good way, and that's okay. So I think we have to fix it all over, and I don't think we should focus down on that. But that's just my opinion.
Do you think part of that is because she's a villain, and that's not necessarily positive representation anyways?
I don't think so, because we have Moira in Overwatch.
We do
She's
have Moira.
An Irish villain, and I love her.
She's wonderful.
For me personally, it's more about it being a prioritization thing.
Okay,
in some ways, that like people of color have more to complain about, and then in this case, I feel like it's a thought and it's a concern. But seeing as how you can transition amount of body fat over the years and so forth, that this one is not top of mind for me. I could be wrong.
I'm going to ask a question, and I feel like we all know the answer to this. Do we feel like she can pull off poor unfortunate souls?
The vocals?
The vocals. Do we think Lady Gaga can probably pull that off?
I watched her catch a football while jumping off something giant, so yes. Go ahead.
Wasn't she in American Horror Story?
She was, yeah.
Okay. You know, she's got some acting ability, right? I mean, I haven't seen A Star is Born yet, and I want to see that.
Me too.
And I like the way she sings, personally. Yeah. I think she's very entertaining. And I love her over-the-top costumes, so I wouldn't mind seeing her in this. What was that?
Designed by Glenn Hedrick, frequently of Face Off, one of my favorite reality shows.
I'm okay with her doing it, unless you guys would rather have Taylor Swift.
I'm not a Taylor Swift hater. I'll say that. I like her. I think she's made some terrible mistakes. I do not want to see her as Ursula, and it's nothing personal. I don't
want to see her as Ariel either.
I don't care.
I don't.
As Ariel.
How about RuPaul?
Sure.
As Ursula or Ariel?
Ursula.
Oh, okay.
100% down.
Yeah. I think she could pull it off.
I think that would actually
I've never thought about that.
That's a fantastic
Just throwing that out there.
Submit it to someone. We assume all the casting shows are waiting to hear our opinions. So
right.
Sure.
Ursula was based on a drag queen, wasn't she?
No.
I thought originally she was. Maybe not. I could just be crazy.
I do have one interjection on that.
Go for it.
I like to quote one of my favorite country western artists, Unknown Henson, when he said, "Get on, little skinny waif model girl. Put some meat on them damn bones." There. So.
I mean, like, really, I'm not unsympathetic to people who want to see a big. I get that.
Yeah.
I don't personally think that it's a big issue.
Fair enough.
And yes, Cass is not crazy. She was based on a drag queen.
Her name was Divine.
There's a puppy in this.
There's a puppy. Hi.
Good boy.
Damn it.
Producer Jason.
Why do I own a
so
dog?
Mad.
Hi.
But it's such a cute dog. He's such a good boy. He didn't bring a news story though.
He didn't. So I guess we need another one, don't we?
Contributes cuteness though.
That's
a lot
important.
of shaggy cuteness.
We could use a little extra.
Much like
here.
myself.
Okay, yeah.
Bryce, what
yes,
you got?
do. We all do.
Yes.
Except for me, I just got a haircut. So, Neil Marshall is directing the new Hellboy reboot, and I can't wait to see what David Harbour and Daniel Day Kim and Mila Jovovich come up with on this new film. And Neil Marshall is planning to do, at its core, a monster movie. It's a horror movie, not a superhero movie, in his words. So it's going to be, according to David Harbour, he compares it to classic monster movies of old. There are going to be CGI elements, but there's also a lot of practical stuff. And if you look at the poster for the Hellboy movie that shows the entire cast, which looks really, really great, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, you'll see the entire cast on there. And he says that in the first poster that revealed just David as Hellboy, every element in that poster was practical effect, except for the sword, the flaming sword. That was the only thing that was CGI added. So I'm excited that, you know, it's going to have a lot of great actors, and it's going to have David Harbour. I really like David.
I'm excited.
He's 43 years old. I'm hoping he can stay with the role for a long time. You know, maybe through a trilogy if we can get that.
Harrison Ford it out and just keep doing it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for it, and I don't know if we're going to get Abe Sapien or Liz. I've read that they may or may not be a part of it. When David was asked if they're going to be a part of the film, he smiled slyly at New York Comic Con and said, "I can't tell you." So we'll see. I'm excited.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love the Hellboy series. Ron Perlman was just great.
Never seen any of them.
Okay, well, I'm excited to get another one.
I've never
Me
heard
too.
somebody say Ron Perlman was just great.
He was great as Hellboy.
He was great as the Beast in the TV show.
Yeah.
I think. What?
Nothing. I've never said that either.
Yeah. Like I said, the Hellboy series, I've always loved the comic. Also, there's another thing to add to that. Somebody who was crew for the Hellboy movie actually tweeted out, they were like, David, I showed you my new BPRD tattoo on set. How about you in full makeup be the officiant at my wedding? David Harbour instantly went out, if this gets 666,000 retweets, I'll do it. It was up to like 300,000. And then he put a caveat in there, if Mike Mignola, the original creator of Hellboy, actually, I think if he wrote something, like a speech for him to say, he would drop the number of tweets down. And Mike Mignola was like, I'll do it. So, yeah, Hellboy in full makeup officiating a wedding. This needs to happen.
Sure does.
Go to David Harbour's Twitter and retweet that tweet. Everybody.
Wow.
Okay.
If you can hear the sound of my voice, go retweet that tweet.
I would love to be at that wedding reception or wedding
I'll
party.
bring a gift.
Absolutely. Right? So it's
Wow.
awesome.
I mean, maybe. Like, if I'm not busy that weekend. No, that would be awesome to see that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
want to. In other news, Fox News is our source for this story.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, Fox News published a story that railed on Jamie Lee Curtis and said that she was starring in the new Halloween movie, even though she supports gun control, that she would be wielding a gun in the movie. And that's clearly a news story for some reason, because of something, because actors and characters are totally synonymous. Anyway, this started trending on Twitter virtually instantly, and the replies to it are fantastic.
You might have seen one from me.
What was yours?
I put a couple in there. I was like, well, the first one, I tweeted a gif of Mars attacks. And I was like, when are y'all going to tell us about the real threat that's coming to this planet? Also,
Okay.
I put one of Godzilla roaring, like, when are you going to talk about giant lizards?
Yeah.
And
Do you support giant lizards?
I kept at it because, I mean, acting, you know?
Yeah, obviously characters and actors are the same. And writers and their characters are the same. And obviously everything that you support will make it into your movie. I'm sorry, this is the funniest thing I've heard in a while.
My personal favorite was the gif I put in of Thanos putting the last Infinity Stone in. Like, when were you going to tell us this happened? What about all these people that are missing?
I was trying to find some of the replies, because the replies were very much in tone of like, well, you know what else happened? Even though apparently James Earl Jones is against, mass genocide. He played Darth Vader. We needed reporting on that.
Even though planets blowing up.
Who played Voldemort?
Ralph Fiennes
didn't want to show up and kill a bunch of fictional wizards. A bunch of wizards. He played Voldemort and just went through villains and was like, they weren't this person.
Exactly.
But they apparently played
Josh Brolin apparently doesn't want to murder
that
half of the
population. It was like, doesn't think the solution to, overpopulation is to get rid of 50% of all the resources.
Of course, that's the solution.
Yeah, that was. They got horribly panned for that. I love the comments personally.
The comments were my favorite part. They're better than the original story. Today, she actually responded to them and was like, first of all, this is a character. You guys seem a little confused. I'm obviously paraphrasing here, but you guys seem a little confused, but I play a character. They hire me, and then I play things in movies, including slasher films. She's like, she insisted apparently on her character not using any automatic weapons as part of the solution. And she's like, and also you can use guns and be in favor of common sense gun laws. Yep. And she's like, you have to register a car, you have to get a license for a car, you have to retest to show that you're still capable of handling it. And I'm in support of all those things, and there's nothing paradoxical about that.
That's my surprise. She's not actually killing a knife-wielding maniac either,
Well, who's going to?
I mean, if there really was a Michael Myers, then, okay, fine. Go ahead and get that assault weapon. Go right ahead. Just kill that mother,
Well, I just want to say for the record, I'm in league with a woman with the last name of Connor, and I am helping hunt down Terminators. So, and she does know how to hunt them down. If you've seen what a badass she is,
Yeah.
she can wield a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard about that one.
Yeah.
Sandra Day O'Connor, I assume.
That would be awesome, actually.
Sandra Day O'Connor.
No, it's Roseanne's daughter.
That sounds like a parody.
We're not in league.
It really does.
The Terminator goes back to Sandra Day O'Connor by mistake.
Yeah.
I would
Sandra
be
Connor.
I would watch
curious enough
that.
to watch. Like, what?
Women's
Like,
rights
sure.
must be upheld.
It sounds like a Rick and Morty subplot. I'm not gonna lie.
It really does.
But one I'm down
I would
for.
absolutely watch that. Yeah.
So are we going to get the right to vote? No, we're going to destroy the patriarchy.
I want to see this. Make it happen. Sandra Day
Who's
O'Connor.
playing Sandra Day O'Connor?
I don't
Bryce,
know.
you're the Terminator.
Oh,
I can't
Get
wait.
your sunglasses.
yes.
Can't wait.
Do it.
We need
I'll
to
wear
do
the leather.
a Parody. Whoa. This show just took a turn. Let's talk about that.
Anyway.
I'm just kidding. I'm
All right,
excited.
let's talk about it.
I'm excited about the new Halloween movie, though.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so good. I love Jamie Lee Curtis as an actor in most of the things I've seen her in. Everything from like the remake of Freaky Friday to
She was amazing.
to her more classic roles like
Halloween.
You may be
How
shocked
about-
she didn't actually switch bodies with Lindsay Lohan either.
I know, right?
She didn't.
They acted.
They
that.
lied to us.
No, they were acting.
They were acting.
Oh, I thought you meant
I feel like I
bodies.
should know that.
I was like, she does look good for her age.
She does look good for her.
Check
age.
her out in A Fish Called Wanda. That's a great comedy.
Isn't?
Yes,
Is
it
it?
is.
I've heard that.
Is that the one
I've
with
never
Hugh
seen
Jackman?
it.
That is not the one with Hugh Jackman.
Oh no, that's Swordfish.
That's the one
Never
with
mind.
Kevin Kline. Swordfish? What?
It's a fish.
I prefer in Trading Places.
That's a great movie too. But A Fish Called Wanda, it's got two members of the Monty Python troupe, and it's great.
Which two? Which two members?
I don't have time to look them up on IMDb, but I trust me that there are two of them.
Okay.
Yes.
I trust you.
Yes.
Is it John Cleese?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a great conversation.
It really is.
I'm glad we have people who are watching this happen live and they planned it. It's obviously scripted to just do that for a while.
To just for me to guess members of Monty Python.
I think we're going to cut off the last 10 minutes of the script, though, and move on to something else.
We have a script?
No.
Absolutely.
Don't show him.
I didn't bring one.
Fan Days is coming up.
Anyway, so here's Fan Days.
So here's Fan Days.
Oh no, Jason. I guess Jason has something to say.
I
I
went
got a
to
story.
you.
No, you didn't.
We're going to Jason for whatever he's talking about.
Probably some garbage.
No, it's
Producer
my,
life is
it's
hard.
my ongoing just thing that I'm pissed off about. And James Gunn,
Ooh.
and now he could possibly be going over to DC to script and possibly direct the next Suicide Squad movie. Instantly, I am now interested in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
As am I.
So, Disney, you done messed up, Aaron. I can't say I can't drop the F-bomb. Anyway, so along with this, the former director, what was it, David Ayers, who directed Suicide Squad, actually tweeted out, I think James Gunn is the right guy for the job.
Really?
And on top of that, Batista has expressed interest in playing a character in the DC universe. Please make him Bane.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
no, I think that'd be... Actually, no. Bane's a very deep character. I actually wouldn't mind him playing Bane. So, yeah. They have pretty much lost James Gunn. And if he does direct Suicide Squad 2, I'm in, all in. I would go and support this movie because I still think the man is brilliant. And I think he got a raw
Fat
deal
deal.
from Disney. So, yeah.
This
Y'all messed up.
wouldn't this be more of a
Messed up, Disney.
more than a directing a movie? Isn't this more of like a firefighting project, though?
Well, they haven't
Like you
confirmed
have to
anything.
put out the garbage fire that was Suicide Squad and rebuild it.
They pretty much only confirmed though that he storyboarded for it, but it's gonna happen.
I mean,
I think everybody sees.
Warner Brothers would be a fool to pass this up because it'd be a real feather in their cap. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
have
y'all
they
let him go?
ever
We'll take it.
Have they ever made bad decisions in the crew department before? Ever? Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
another long conversation.
Actually,
awkward.
though, I do want to, like, in addition to that, say that David Ayer has directed some really solid movies.
Yes.
So I don't think this is just a director issue. But I am still excited to see what he will, the kind of, permissions and what they would allow him to do. So I think a new director could potentially save it, even though I don't think it was David Ayer's fault, per se.
I think it was the script.
I think it was the script and the producer.
Oh, is
And,
that
And editing.
I want Dave Bautista as Hawkman. That's my vote.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Interesting choice.
So that we would be.
He's a very bulky,
That we would care
very
about
bulky,
Hawkman.
muscular guy, and I would be all into that.
I don't like Hawkman. I mean, what? He has all the powers of a hawk and a man. Ooh.
I never have.
He's an
before.
aggressive-
I hate Hawkman.
He's an
Seriously.
alien.
Yeah, he is.
And a god.
Look at me. I've
And a
got
god,
wit.
yeah.
That depends on who's writing him.
But yeah.
No, he's either a cop from Thanagar or whatever else they've made.
I mean, Sandman wasn't anything either before Neil Gaiman got a hold of it.
hey, look how well they did on Legends of Tomorrow. They were boring on Legends of Tomorrow, and they got rid
He
of
was boring.
No, he was upsetting.
it.
He was, no, she was not bad though.
I
I
could
liked
think-
Hawk Girl.
I could think of a
Except
ton of
for-
other characters.
I don't think that they were well written.
On Legends?
No.
That's fair.
From the chat, Connor Quigley. Hi.
Hi.
I hope it's cool that I said your name. Well, it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Never mind. Connor. Hi, Connor.
What's
he
up?
said the new one is a reboot, not a sequel.
And it's a good route to go.
The new...
Suicide Squad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a reboot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not?
Interesting.
All right.
Just
Which
take.
sets an interesting
So no Will
new,
Smith?
interesting new precedent of them
No.
recognizing their folly and
Yeah.
backtracking.
I actually would take Will Smith as Deadshot again.
I liked
I
him.
would take
thought
most of the people except for one in particular.
it's the Joker.
No, I
It's the
like
Joker.
Oh, well,
I'm sorry, but
a lot of good
Katana not being able to wield her own sword to save the day when her sword was taken away by
choices.
Margot Robbie. I'm sorry. Harley? What?
Oh.
She?
Oh, yeah, no. I would take the casting.
Okay, I'm
Like
talking
the
about the first film.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just-
I would
just-
take... If you took the casting of the old film, took
Okay.
out the Joker, put that cast into a
Okay.
new movie with James Gunn,
Okay.
I would be good.
No Joker's good.
No?
Not the villains. If they're
Oh, yeah.
the villain.
No,
A
never mind.
good actor, just not the right person.
No. With little
Fair enough.
evil dance.
What was the
Her little
villain?
evil wiggle. Enchantress.
I'm like Empress something.
No.
Like,
Empress of
I didn't like
darkness and
Either way, James
weirdly
Gunn has got
weird
a nice
sex scenes.
canvas to work with. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
that. A blank
Absolutely.
canvas would be nice. Give him a blank canvas, not overcrowded with too much production.
Fine.
That would be lovely.
So, did we talk about your thing?
Are we done?
I'm done. I'm done talking about James.
Are we done, Jason?
What?
I decided
James
since
Gunn
I
watch.
cut you off,
Every week I'm just gonna have James Gunn watch.
since I cut you off and didn't like showcase yours, do you have an additional story? Several more you want to do?
James Gunn had a ham sandwich today with barbecue chips.
Did he like it?
So, fan days.
Was it good? I'm not done with this. We have extra room in the script now.
That is
Since
actually
we stopped talking about
Yeah.
Monty Python.
that is actually some news that we got today. We are invited to attend Fan Days as press.
Whoop, whoop.
And
What if you've previously been kicked out and they told you not to come back? I'm just kidding. That didn't happen to me.
I was like,
just
did
knew
I
it was assumed
forget something
Asking
really
for a
intense?
friend. My
Asking
Junkrat
for
was
a
a little too true to life. So, fan days.
I blew up something. They didn't like it. It was bad.
in October, probably.
October 19th through the 21st. It's a great show. We've been going for years and years and years. Kat and I don't know about the rest of you losers. Love it every time. They have some great guests coming up that I'm really
going to
excited
some of
about.
those right now. Well, will he show up? But Matt Smith.
I hope it's pretty close to the event. I know the Doctor Who cast is infamous for having scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
And that's the nicest way I could say that about anything. But they're
Yeah.
infamous for having those conflicts, but usually they try and let the convention know as soon as they possibly can that they won't be able to attend.
Yeah.
And it's pretty close.
On the screen, I have one of my favorite and probably OG Power Rangers, Jason David Frank's going to be there. Carl Urban. I'm surprised they actually got Carl Urban.
That's not the first time, though.
I know, he's been here a couple times.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah, Judge Dredd.
That's not who I think of when I... Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Also Bones.
Don't judge me.
I was thinking of Bones, but yeah. Bones and obviously Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Played a great character.
One of my favorite wrestlers, Bret the Hitman Hart's going to be there.
Absolutely.
I don't know who he is, but he's
you
hot.
mentioned a guy, Mono Bennett coming back.
Manu Bennett, yes. I love him as Deathstroke from Arrow, but also as, what is his name? I cannot remember his name. The druid
the
from...
hot druid guy.
Super, really just a little bit daddy, like... He's nice. He's nice looking in the Shannara Chronicles.
Be a little daddy. That's kind of a genetic condition that you have or you don't have.
Also, Ray Park.
Darth Maul.
Who you may recognize as Darth Maul or Toad. Or from Heroes. He played a role in Heroes.
A lot of things had a lot of issues in the Star Wars prequels, but I felt like Ray Park was on point.
So good.
Oh yeah, he was one of the better parts of it for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
The two-handed lightsaber. I won't ever forget that reveal.
Yes.
And they locked it up. They kept it a secret. They did really well. And then just like when I saw it,
hits that switch and it comes
the
out the other
second
side.
part
And
of
you're
the
like,
lightsaber. And I was like, what's gonna happen?
that's so cool.
And then the ensuing fight was awesome.
Amazing.
And I never got over the orchestral with the voices in the background.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the first time I'd heard that used that way in a movie.
So beautiful.
I'm actually redoing my cinematic reel this week, and I chose a song that has those vocal qualities behind it because it's amazing.
Also, everyone's favorite trickster, John Delancey. You will recognize him as Q from The Next Generation, who's one of my favorite Star Trek characters of all time was Q. He's amazing.
And he's going to be reunited with Q2, Corbin Burnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Q is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Just the
love Q.
And of course is responsible for the infamous Data laughing moment in Next Generation.
They have Jaleel White as well as this.
Yeah, there are people in the chat talking about it like, oh my gosh.
And he was on a little show called Family Matters who, killed one of the daughters in the first season. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, the Family Matters daughter that just never showed up again.
That's right.
They didn't write her out. They didn't explain where. Well, she was just there one season and she was gone. Judy. That was Judy.
That happened in The West Wing as well, where she's just gone.
They used to do it a lot more than they do now.
Yeah.
There are some cosplay guests as well, just because they are friends of ours.
Oh yeah, D. Rich is
D.
coming.
Rich. I do have a picture. Kinsey cosplay. Good friend of mine. MC Cubed.
Yep.
Marla's a good buddy of mine. Of course, D. Rich. Some artist guests. Our friends over at Show Enough Studios are going to have a booth there.
Hey,
do a lot of big things, bringing up those comic books. And if you liked Venom, Sam De La Rosa is going to be there.
Nice. Signing
some books. Man's still vastly talented. Here's Dee's picture. I actually put them out of order. I'm sorry. The one I'm most excited about, though, the Dragon Ball Z tour is coming through, and they will be at Fan Days, and they have exclusive toys.
What do they do on it? They just...
It's a couple of vendors that have exclusive items. There's going to be 3 exclusive SH Figure Arts figures. Some voice actors, of course, are going to be there. Probably people from that cast, creators, so probably guarantee that. But I'm excited for it. I'm curious, like, what's all going to be offered with the Dragon Ball Z tour, so that's my jam. Also, they haven't announced any vendors yet. I'm hoping that my favorite vendor, Toy Dojo, is going to be there. Mm-hmm. But that list is still yet to come. But
when he says favorite vendor, like, he's not kidding.
No.
They all show up to the con. Usually we go get, like, passes together, and then Jason's like, I need to find Toy Dojo. Wait, we can do press stuff. No, I need to find Toy Dojo.
When my dealer, the people I buy toys from.
Yeah.
Message me and say, like, hey, Jay, were you looking to get this? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
They're out of Austin, aren't they?
You end up hauling, like, 8 boxes around for the next, like, 5 hours.
Okay, I didn't. Anyway, we'll have to go down.
It's true. Jason likes to get his stuff early and then carry it around we try and help out, but often we also have equipment there,
Yeah.
like camera equipment, and sometimes we're in cosplay, and it's really hard.
It's a
to-
shame
Yeah,
I want to
Roadhog has
downsize like
pockets,
yours,
but not
so
that many.
carrying around my stuff is better. So,
Yeah.
and,
We also have. Oh,
well, it's coming out at the Irving Convention Center as well. I thought we could mention that. You know,
oh yeah, probably.
You need the red wagon.
that area's changed, man.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it
the
has.
fields are gone. Like I drove by there the other day. The fields that you park in, there's like the Alamo Draft House
So
over
did
there
they
now, and an
pave
apartment complex.
Paradise?
And put up a parking lot. Is that what they did?
Yes.
I do remember
I'm a
I was
fan
the
literally
of
first
sing that song.
parking.
Anyway.
Like, I don't know what to
the
say.
first several times that I went to this convention. Yeah, you parked in like a field like half a mile away and then had to walk all the way across. They're going to have a Harry Potter escape room, which I thought was super cool at this event. I think it's cool. Escape rooms are cool.
Escape rooms are not cool.
They are cool. I've done one once and it was great.
You know, they have an escape room on the new Joker set with Joaquin Phoenix. But the
Is it
but
called
the
a
extras,
dressing room?
No. I read that the extras were not allowed to leave an area that they were confined in, and despite the banging on the doors and the kicking and the yelling and the screaming, they wouldn't let them out. So they
It's like your
urinated.
method
They urinated through whatever they could urinate through because they were being confined, and now.
What the bloody hell?
Yeah, that's what's going on the new Joker movie. Yeah, with
Is that
Joaquin
true?
Phoenix. That's true. Yes.
What?
That's true.
I thought that he
Here's
would
some
be
more
step
super nerd
up.
news
Oh,
for you.
God.
Super cool nerd news.
I
I'm not
wouldn't
gonna
say
independent-
that. We probably don't want to throw super cool into that story.
No,
Oh,
That's
I
not
was
cool at all.
thinking news, unconfirmed.
Well,
reports.
SCNS Live news is what I
okay.
was saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I was
didn't
like,
say that it was super cool the treatment the extras were getting, but yeah. But so now they've been visited on the set by people who look out for the extras and their rights.
Yeah, I was about to say
Whoa.
that calls for at the very least a union visit
That's so freaking bizarre.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
and a costume contest at Fan Days.
Oh yeah, they got that too. Yeah, I'm thrown off by.
I can't.
urinating.
I don't even
I
know what to
mean,
say.
Like, as humorless a segue as it is, like, we're talking about horror tonight. We're talking about fictional
Speaking of horror.
Yeah,
tonight.
right.
Like,
Not actual.
Right.
Let's lean away from that into the much brighter topic of slaughtering humans, like you do in horror movies.
It's beginning to look a lot like murder
Yay!
everywhere.
So we're going to
you
bring
look.
this up a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about what is the first movie that profoundly impacted you, like the first scary movie you saw that scared you when you were growing up.
Okay. For me, it would have been probably the Phantom of the Opera as a small kid. It would have been the black and white one. I don't know what year it came out, but
Was
I
it a
remember
musical, was
it was
the
not a
first
musical.
one?
Sorry, no, not a musical. Not in the sense that, you know, the contemporary musicals that you've seen and know and love. Yeah, no. Now this one was strictly horror, but it was yeah, it freaked me out as a kid, and then later on, if you want to talk about color, a more modern film that freaked me out, it would have been Alien.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those that have enjoyed Alien, and I have a quick thing to tell about my son. I tried to get him to watch it with me when he was 16 in a darkened room, and he lasted all of about 65 seconds. The film didn't even end its credit sequence, and he couldn't take it because it is so creepy, you know, in the beginning. You know, some people can't even get past the first, you know, credit sequence. It cracked me up. But yeah, I love Alien, and I haven't seen Phantom of the Opera since I was a kid, so I don't know what effect that would have on me now, but it was scary at that time.
What about you, Jason?
Well, I probably want to touch on Bryce's. One of the first movies that scared me as a kid, I think, was the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because just that opening scene of Freddy... sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Just that opening scene of Freddy Krueger when his arms were kind of stretching out and scraping the walls. I think that was the... And I watched this on, like, broadcast television alone in my room at night.
How old were you?
Oh, I forget
Ish.
when... pretty single digits. So, that was terrifying to me. But honestly, one of the things that scared me more as a kid was aliens. Because aliens seemed like a more feasible thing. So, really, it was War of the Worlds. The first War of the Worlds. It was just the ships going... It's cheesy when you look at it now. But the beams hitting people and they're just vaporizing, that was terrifying to me as a kid. And I think it carried over because when Alien first came out and the first Aliens, I don't like how they swarm. They're like bugs that can kill you that are giant and they have acid spit. You can't even punch one, you know, because if you punch it and break it, it'll get acid on your hand. I hated those things because they just seem so unkillable. Like, I'm okay with something that reasonably I feel as though with the correct amount of weaponry, like Jamie Lee Curtis, I could murder. So,
Yeah.
this is, I'm like all about her like killing Michael Myers in this movie, and she's been prepping all these years. I'm okay with that. When the odds are not in my favor, nah, I feel a little bit scared. So yeah, definitely like the Freddy Krueger thing, attacking you in your dreams and having no control. That's the things that scared me the most.
All right.
I can't identify with that at all. What would
No, of
scare
course
you
not.
about your dreams? Cass, what about you?
Are we not counting Muppet Christmas Carol? Are we
That's-
counting that as a horror movie?
We told you not to say that.
I told her to say it.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Disqualified.
preface this with I was very sheltered growing up. We were not allowed to watch horror movies, so I didn't see a lot of scary movies as I was a kid. But when I was like 3, maybe, bless you. When I was like 3, we watched Muppet Christmas Carol. We still watch Muppet Christmas Carol every year, Christmas Eve. It's a tradition that we have, and I was supposed to go to bed because it was past my bedtime and I was like 3. So I got up and I snuck into the living room and I saw the moment where, spoilers, Scrooge is coming up through the snow. It's a darkened alley. He's a little bit nervous, kind of, and then his door knocker turns into a face. This is still scary to me. I still have issues.
It goes,
And then it yells it screams at him. I still have issues with facial distortion of any kind. The whole, anything like without a mouth, without eyes, faces that are messed up in any way.
like Twilight Zone early effects. Like when
Yeah.
that girl without the mouth, that kind of stuff.
Girl without the mouth, or like mouth sewn shut. Anything to do with your face, I don't like.
Anything to do with your face, she doesn't
Anything-
like. You
Kind of
heard
an
it
insult.
here
Anything-
first.
She said this about multiple
Anything
times.
that messes
Thanks.
with your face, I'm just not a fan of in general. Especially like, you know, the horror thing where you have the black eyes and everything kind of distorts. No, thank you.
That's why we've been working
Too
on a
scary.
horror short
That's-
that showcases exactly that.
On my own personal face, which is great.
Fun
My
for her to
personal
make.
face, this one.
Fun
my
for me
face.
to edit.
Yeah. But if we're not counting Muppet Christmas Carol as a horror movie, which we're probably not, gotta go The Sixth Sense. It came out when I was, I think, 6 or 7. I saw it maybe when I was 10. And Misha Barton, man, it's just
The little girl.
The little girl.
With
The
the
little
box
girl
that pushes the box from under the bed, or the little.
is just like vomiting all over herself. And it's that she's right behind him and she's scary, but she also looks like trapped. And the idea that I could see things that other people couldn't, and that it was in my mind, and that I was going crazy, scared me to death. Still uncomfortable with that concept of me going crazy. So
I think there are two, and this has spoilers about The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
But there are two types. There's two kind of a binary approach to how you feel about that movie. Were you scared of being Bruce Willis, or were
Yeah.
you scared of being Haley Joel Osment? Were you
And I-
scared of seeing the dead people that other people couldn't see?
that's me.
That's me too, actually.
Not
Or were
scared
you
of being a
scared
dead
of
person.
finding out you were already dead.
Yeah, that's that was a very creepy movie. The one M. Night Shyamalan got right.
It's classified as a thriller, technically, but it should be. I mean, we're not into those kinds of labels. It's a horror movie.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
Straight up. And it
Sure.
had a brilliant twist, and so people, I think, forget how scary it was in the interim.
Yeah.
But I think mine, like, well, I was very, like, triggered by audio when I was a kid. So there were a lot of things that scared me that I couldn't explain to my parents. I didn't know how to explain to my parents that it was the sounds, not the visuals, that would set me off.
How old would you have been around the time that you can remember being scared by things that you now know are audio?
Little. I don't know. The movie came out before I was born, but Robin Hood, the cartoon one, has a, like, we have to get blah, 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 or Friar Tuck dies at dawn, and then they had the creepiest, like, bell ring in the background.
It's like a death knell.
Yeah, and it scared, just the bell tolling, like, scared me. But my mom thought, because I couldn't tell her, didn't know how to explain or even diagnose it, that I was scared of the Sheriff of Nottingham and the kids Robin Hood growing up. She just like, the sheriff, I guess. He's the bad guy. And when I was like 10, though, I went to a slumber party and I heard the story of it. I'm younger than 10.
Like the clown?
I heard, would have been younger than 10. Anyway, I heard the story of it. Tim Curry's It, and it scared the crap out of me. Didn't actually see the movie till recently.
I was about to say within the past like 2 years.
2 years. The movie did not scare me.
No.
I was already scared of clowns. My best friend growing up had a marionette clown that was an antique in her bedroom, and it scared the crap out of me.
Wow. Why do you have this marionette thing?
She had it was like a family heirloom.
Are there any, like, inanimate objects or something? Or, like, monsters?
I don't
that
like
particularly
clowns.
jealous?
I don't like
clowns.
puppets.
Okay. Bryce?
I had.
Or
That's
like,
a great question.
Or, like, something from, like, I don't know,
Like something specific.
Yeah.
I did. I had a ventriloquist dummy that was given to me by my parents as a child, and I had to, and his name was Lester, and he was an African-American ventriloquist dummy, and I actually liked him at first, and there was a record, a flimsy record. It was a 45 that you put on your record player, and you could learn how to use the ventriloquist dummy. But I had to eventually stop looking or stop using that dummy. I didn't use it very much because I was too much into reading and other toys and stuff. Well, I saw the movie Magic. There was a movie called Magic.
Was it?
Yeah, that was about a ventriloquist dummy that came alive, and that was the end of looking at Lester. Lester had to go in a sack in the closet, and Lester stayed there in the dark for a very long time.
Weren't you scared that he would be mad?
No.
That you were a more mature child than I was.
No, but when I saw Chucky, I was like, uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I wonder what Lester's up to. I'm a little concerned right now. But another thing you mentioned, I wanted to, Jason, I sent you a picture as well on the chat. I don't know if you can pull it up and use it or not, but I had this record as a kid that triggered a lot of my fears, and it was a song. I'm sorry, not a song, but it was a record called Monster Mash: Sounds of Terror, and it was called "Listen to This Horror If You Dare." And
I just added it.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So there were a lot of little stories in this, and one of them was the maniacal headless horseman, and the other one was called To Be Buried Alive. And I remember listening to Be Buried Alive, and that sent me into a whole new level of fear.
Yeah.
As a child. The people who made these sound effects records and these little monster stories, including screams of the...
Enjoy.
I'm sorry, Screams of the Torture Chamber. there was some
You listened to this when
crazy
you were
stuff.
a kid?
Yes.
The
Yes.
hell, man?
Why?
Yeah, I was under 10 years old.
Why
yeah.
did it exist? Like, I'm
Because
confused.
it was fun and it was weird.
Dumb kids like him were gonna buy it and play it and terrify
Seriously.
themselves.
Well, I'm sure I talked my parents into buying it, but yeah, it scared me. I mean, you know, there was it was a lot of fun, actually. It's if I don't know if you've seen it, if you put up on the chat, but I love the artwork too.
That's
it is
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mine's gonna seem silly.
No.
So is
go for
mine,
it.
so go for it.
Have y'all ever heard of it's a Japanese thing? It's the Kuchisake Ono. It's kind of like medical trauma, but it's the I guess I'll put the camera on.
If you put up the
The Kuchisake Ono is a lady that she was always, her face was covered, and she would ask you a question, am I pretty? And, you know, if you didn't answer whatever,
There's a Doctor Who
she pulled
episode
out,
with
they,
that,
they,
like,
they did a movie
reference.
called Card about it, but
Yeah.
she would pull down her mask, and you would see that her cheeks were cut ear to ear, and her mouth was full of razor-sharp teeth, and she'll say, how about now? And then she would cut you in half, was how the legend went.
if you said yes, she would make you pretty like her.
Or something.
And if
or
you
that.
said no, then she would.
And
just
I
kill
remember
you.
just as a kid reading this and becoming suddenly aware of dark-haired women who I couldn't quite see their faces.
Yeah.
Like it's like, wow, that was really scary. I read it as a kid, and then I go out into public when I lived in Japan for a little while, and it was just like, whoa. And it's like until you saw somebody's mouth, I kind of had a little kind of like heart palpitation a little bit, like, wait a minute, is that? Or I swear, I was on a street and there was a lady walking towards me, and I couldn't, and her head was down, and her head was just down. She was just walking with her head down. But for a minute, I was just like, maybe I'll cross the street. You know? So I'm a teenager or whatever at the time, but like I said, I could not see her face, and I became just suddenly aware that I realized I am terrified of this.
I was
This
just
freaking
thinking
legend
about
now.
that with Eastern cultures and their tendencies towards like modesty and what that means. You're a lot more likely to see women with faces covered or heads down.
Yeah, I don't like that. No.
They
So,
also,
yeah.
a lot of Easter, I think especially in Japan, they, when you're sick, you wear a mask, a medical mask, to not get your germs out instead of the other way around.
And it wasn't Samara Connor. No, it's
Now it's just
look up
Yeah.
it's Kuchisake and Ona.
Look it up with friends.
Did
You're
you
doing
ever-
daytime,
ONNA.
'cause it is a scary.
So-
Did you ever watch Constantine, the
yeah.
TV show?
Oh, yeah.
She,
Yeah.
that legend makes
Don't
an
like
appearance.
don't like that.
Yeah.
Do not like that.
Yeah, no. What about you?
Mine's gonna be silly. I had a lunchbox that had some cartoon character on it with their mouth wide open, but it looked like an elongated jaw when I was going to sleep.
So the medical thing where it's like the face distorted, like
Exactly.
you said. Yeah.
But
That's probably why you
yeah.
didn't like the one that I brought up. So
Yeah.
Well, facial distortion.
Yeah, but it looked like the jaw was just dropped down, and I did not like that when I was a kid. And my parents got me the lunchbox. It was really nice, but it was in my room, like across the room. And so every time I was going to sleep, I would glance at it, just like,
I'm just gonna put this towel over this thing.
yeah, just like.
You say you don't like that as a kid. We're still like trigger warning each other before we see certain horror, just to like a heads up that
gotcha,
it's
Connor.
in there.
Kat got a puppet last year that does not come out of its box at
I
night.
got a replica of the Ash versus Evil Dead, little ashy slashy, and I love it.
It's very
wanted
cartoony
it,
looking.
and I don't care. It's a puppet, and puppets. I used to have this little lamb chops puppet. I don't know if you guys.
I
know who
remember.
Lamb Chops
Yeah,
is.
I know who that
Yeah,
is.
and on the thing, it's a necklace that every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And I was maybe 7, and I had a nightmare that it came to life. There was no hand, and it was like it's like, you know, this time when the bell rings, like it means you're gonna die. And I think that's as complicated as my 7-year-old brain got with those. But after that, like.
No.
Nope, in between that and the marionette, just no puppets, please.
Oh, also to this day, porcelain dolls. Nope.
When I was growing up, the China doll stories were big.
Yeah.
And they were just, they're just like urban legends of different China dolls and how you mess with them and they kill you. So I had this thing after that where all my stuffed animals and dolls and stuff had to be comfortable. Like, they couldn't be.
I don't think Toy Story helped with that either.
No.
No.
I think we all had the fear that our toys were moving around when we were sleeping.
And if they moved around, for me, if they moved around, that was fine.
As long as
It
they
was
didn't-
as long as they were happy with me. Yeah.
I mean, who didn't read? Did anybody read the Indian in the Cupboard?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Seen the
Yeah.
movie.
Uh,
Seen the movie.
I have not seen the movie.
Yeah.
actually.
Who reads anymore?
Yeah, I don't know, because what's his name is in there, who I hate. Owen Wilson. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
fair.
I hate him. I hate his face.
That's fair.
Like,
Anyway,
seriously, sorry. But
that's why I
anyway,
didn't see the movie.
nah, I might watch it.
I didn't
at
know
some
there
point.
was a movie.
Yeah.
I read it growing up.
So these are our irrational. Any other? Well, I mean, like, I want to see The Nun, but I don't want to see The Nun. So are medical thrillers like the things that scare y'all the most? Because they kind of get me. Like Get Out. Get Out is a horror movie, okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it just, I don't know. When they were like, you could see that their heads had been like
Yeah.
capped off and everything.
I haven't seen it.
See,
I really want to.
Once
but I
again,
haven't.
there's that medical thing. Like, oh, we actually have a movie coming that it's a horror movie that someone wanted us to review.
Really?
Ooh.
It's called.
Send it to us.
This is yeah, it's going to be a future review. No, we're getting a hard copy of it. They're sending it to us. It's called Painless. It's basically about someone that cannot feel pain.
They have
And,
that
it's-
nerve condition.
It is, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
medical condition. So we'll be
Is it
reviewing
based
that. It's
on
kind
a
of like
true story?
probably it is an actual medical
Yeah.
condition. So
It's very rare, and
and
it
some people are
sounds
like,
great,
oh, it
but
sounds
it's not
cool.
Good.
No, it's not cool at all.
Yeah.
Pain is
Because
the
you
way.
don't know if you're injured, basically.
Medical stuff like that. Also, like, I mean, even though it was a horrible, horrible movie, The Human Centipede.
Oh,
I didn't see it.
Don't. I believe Deadpool said it worse. It's almost as horrible as that moment in Human Centipede when those people signed on to be in that movie.
Yeah.
I
They
don't
made
like
sequels to that, which is hard to believe. But I did see
called
Get
the
Out, and it was
millipede
awesome.
and the decapede. I don't think that's accurate. It would be more legs, which is not translate well. Anyway, I don't like gore, but I'm not scared of it. I don't like it. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. It doesn't scare me, so I feel like there's a fine line sometimes with some of the medical stuff.
Yeah.
I
Like
feel
if
the-
it's too gross.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's one of the things I loved about the X-Files. You know, a lot of the horrible stuff happened off camera, and that's where I think a lot of horror is really effective when it happens off camera.
The thing
Yeah.
you can't see.
The things you can't see, but your
Twilight Zone
imagination fills it
made,
in.
use of that as well, like when they
Twilight, Hitchcock in general.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That's I was gonna talk about. Psycho
Oh
was
yeah.
I think is the oldest horror movie I've ever seen. That or Bunny Lake is Missing. I don't know which one came out.
It's probably older, but I don't know.
Not my scary. Actually, my scariest from Hitchcock is The Birds. Straight up, I don't.
Oh,
Birds.
where the guy falls down,
No,
his
just
eyes
The
are pecked
Birds.
out.
No,
and-
it's just. It's a massive amount of. I guess it's like kind of like that swarming thing. There's too many
Yeah.
of them. You can't really do anything.
That's the whole
But-
zombie thing done right.
That
That's
one
the
scene-
inevitability.
But that one scene where she's walking and they're like all around, she's like, I don't want to panic them, and you're just like, please don't freak the birds out. They get your eyes pecked out or whatever. It's amazing. That something like that.
Inevitability. Yeah.
Hitchcock was just good at that, making you feel not at ease.
Yeah.
Hitchcock was a maniac. He storyboarded his stuff so exactly that he rarely had more than like 9 minutes of extra footage per movie.
Wow.
Like
That's crazy.
movie per film.
The kind of filmmaking that I find the most interesting when it comes to horror would be the who can you trust and who can't you trust, because when I look at like Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
Yeah.
when I see a film
Like
that
The Thing.
like The Thing, sure,
That perfect
yeah,
example.
I love movies where you don't know if you can trust anyone around you. So when you start seeing films where even your loved ones might have been replaced, by something, some unknown force. When I saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers in the '70s with Jeff Goldblum, I thought that was fantastic. And some of that paranoia also feeds well into like the X-Files, some of their episodes. Who can you trust?
One of their earliest ones was one. It was kind of based off The Thing. and it was them.
They stole a lot of their concepts.
They did,
Yeah.
but it's them, and it's like a worm that gets you infected or
Yep.
something. And yeah, it's got Xander Berkeley in it. It's a good episode.
Yeah, it is.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of that replacement. I like when they push that in the zombie genre a little bit. I like a lot of zombie movies. I don't think they're scary, but I like them. But did that person get bitten? Are they about to turn?
The guy that never tells anyone that he
Yeah,
got bitten.
the one guy
Yeah, that's
Don't be that
in the
guy.
party who's like, nope, I'm fine. I'm feeling fine. I just have a little cold. And they're like, maybe we won't kill him because we're still humans.
You know, you
Then he
brought
kills
up,
everybody.
like, what's the evolution of the horror genre for now? Like, I mean, I thought Get Out, we keep going back now, was kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
what
Yes, it
did.
was.
Definitely.
But
First time director Jordan
what's
Peele.
left to
Yep, we
break
saw
on that
coming.
ground? I mean, Saw was pretty, for its time, Saw was different because it was like, it had those
first
elements
Saw
of, yes.
is incredible.
Yes.
It had those elements of you couldn't trust anybody. It was truly gory. And I don't know if I like gore so much because it's a shock effect, but the first Saw did it well. The second was just, I'm just going to gross you
They had shock value. I thought the second one was okay too, honestly. They twisted the second one, they twisted it well at the end.
They did.
And it was still a different story than they'd told before. So I thought it was interesting. Also, they made Saw for like $100,000 or a
Damn.
million or
Something
something.
crazy.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Okay,
It was a very, very low budget.
I mean, you can tell
film.
it didn't take a lot of money in that. So.
It didn't. I don't think it made quite the returns that like The Purge did, because The Purge was a budget of $9 million.
Oh.
It made like
The first
81
one was-
times.
The first one was like 3 million.
3 million.
And
Three.
also
Oh,
pretty
the
good.
second
9
one.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
11.
yeah.
Pretty good horror movie.
But it
too.
made, I think, 81 times what they spent.
So
for the
Horrors
Purge
have
movie?
the best return on investment, but actually the Purge I was thinking about because I think that might be where horror's going because like we were talking about this recently with sci-fi TV shows, they don't have to as extensively set up the universe anymore,
Yeah.
right? Like you understand the rules a lot more intuitively.
They don't have to explain what a spaceship is.
What a
They're like,
spaceship
here's
is.
a spaceship, go.
Or that space travel is super fast, if they're gonna do like a proxy technology thing where the real person is somewhere else, or the real person is gonna go into somebody else's body or whatever, they don't have to lay this out as clearly as they did in the 70s because we're familiar with the concept, right? The same thing is kind of happening in horror a little bit, and I think it's a positive thing. They don't have to explain to you that zombies need to draw blood. Or at least they don't need to lay it out quite as step by step.
Yeah, it used to be brains. Now they just eat your flesh
Yeah,
and
like
your organs.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But they can just tell you kind of what the exceptions are and go over the rules real quick, and you're good. The
Yeah.
exposition needs are considerably lower, and because of that, I feel like we have more time to explore without it getting slow.
You know, there's a good question in the chat. I think we should probably close. What's the difference between PG-13 horror and R-rated horror? Just language these days?
Nudity?
No,
Nudity?
actually,
Graphic violence?
not necessarily. The Conjuring movies are all rated R. The Conjuring movies do not have language. They do not have nudity. They do not have a lot of on-screen violence or gore. They are literally scary enough to be R,
Well,
Okay.
which
the
is awesome.
rating system is completely subjective.
It is.
It is a small committee of people who have a couple of rules,
Connor's like, gore!
but mostly just watch things and decide what they should be rated based on whatever, and then give subjective instructions back to distributors, which I think is BS. But like Titanic, I don't know. This is an infamous example in my world. Titanic was rated PG-13 because it was historically important enough that it didn't matter that there was nudity, which was always supposed to be an R rating at the time.
Harry Potter was supposed to be the original. It came back as R, and then they're like, but this is famous, and then they rated it PG-13. The last one.
Oh, okay.
Because it was so gratuitously
I
violent.
was like, I didn't watch my kids watching. Anyway.
But yeah, a lot of horror movies, it kind of depends, but all the Conjuring movies are rated R, and none of them have language, a lot of violence, or gore. One of the reasons I love James Wan.
What do you think?
I just like to touch on the classics real quickly. I mean, I enjoyed these as a kid, you know, with the makeups. And the makeups, you know, we talked about Hellboy earlier tonight. There's going to be a lot of makeup involved.
Yep.
You know, we're still doing monster movies just like they were doing 60 years ago, you know, with lots of makeup. You know, Lon Chaney Jr., Boris Karloff, you know, as Frankenstein. There's still a lot of good makeups being done, and that's a great way to make horror movies. But then there's also, I just want to touch on, you know, where you're isolated. Kind of like in Antarctica with the Thing, you know, they were all isolated, you know, and then they were trying to, you know, figure out, you know, who can we trust, who can't we trust. But you know, I also wanted to say that as far as the isolation goes, you know, Alien, you know, they're isolated on that ship, you know, and they've got that one xenomorph, you know, creature, you know, hunting them down. I always liked that concept, you know. So
I love the help is available, but it might not be A, where you think it is, or B, it might not be close enough to help you out.
Yeah.
Like if you can just hold out for whatever event. And then I love it when that event happens and it's not helpful. They're on the bad guy's side, or else they don't have any resources. These are obviously really generic terms, but like just wait for the police, and the police get there and they're not on your side, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to mention the slasher films. I mean, we've already talked about Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. Between Friday the 13th and you know, Michael Myers and Jason. You know, to me, those are classics, and I will continue to probably enjoy that. I just saw a movie called Visiting Hours with Michael Ironside as a guy who was, you know, he was a slasher antagonist, and he was actually wearing a necklace, and you made me think of it with the bell. It would ring,
Nice.
and you know,
Terrifying.
that's right, and it is scary. And Michael Ironside makes a great crazy guy,
What
you
is
know,
it
in that
called?
film. It's called Visiting Hours.
Oh,
Anybody else have like off-brand recommendations?
Bunny Lake is Missing. If you like classic horror, it's about a woman missing her child and she can't find her, and there's not a lot of help coming from any
Like
direction.
just missing.
Just
like
gone.
nobody remembers her kid.
Nobody, because some people kind of, they're just
like,
not helpful.
What? That happened? Sure. Okay, whatever. Kids are weird. This is the 40s or 50s or 60s or whatever, so we're not really too concerned about where your kid is. They'll probably be along when they get hungry.
Yeah.
I got one that kind of touches on. It's an off-brand one. It's called Feast. Came out in 2007. It was a kind of low budget, but it had Jason Mewes, it had Henry Rollins in it as well. It had very cool intros to each character, and they were monster movies, and they were isolated in a bar out in the middle of nowhere, and they were like being picked off one by one. It's a classic kind of horror movie. It's a little bit cheesy, and you don't see a lot of the monster. It kind of like has a lot of elements, but yeah, Feast is one of my favorite, like kind of lesser known, off-brand kind of horror
I'm
movies.
trying to think. I loved
Don't
a
watch the
movie
sequels.
called The Crazies, but it is not scary. It is stunningly beautiful.
I
Yeah.
want to see if somebody recognize Feast in the
Trying to
but
think. I know there's a lot of ones
I mean,
that,
Train to Busan we watched this week.
Train
If
to
you
Busan
haven't
is
seen
really
it, check
good.
it out.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's Korea's take on zombies. Zombies are very different in different countries. Specifically, the Eastern countries tend to have a different version of zombie.
I would say that I really enjoyed Hatchet and Victor Crowley. That's a series of 4 movies, actually. Victor Crowley being the latest one, and not a lot of people know about those. Those are really good if you like crazy Louisiana swamp slasher type film. And I do want to mention that I really enjoyed Tarantino's. I'm actually looking at my video shelf. I took
nice.
pictures of my horror movies at home, so this is why I keep looking at my phone. So Tarantino's Death Proof with Kurt Russell was really
what I
cool.
was thinking about.
I love that film.
Yeah.
And then
Love that
Planet
movie.
Terror as well was
Yeah.
was released at the
Yeah.
same
I'm
I'm
time.
gonna watch
They
those
did the
now.
double feature.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah,
two movies.
double
Yeah.
feature. I love those 2 movies, and just over the
Kirk
top,
is
so
my
great.
favorite
Really?
Tarantino, like
It's a good movie.
I saw it at a really important time in my life where I really needed some girl power vibes, you know? But also, I just love it. I watched it again when she saw it a few years ago.
I still couldn't get over that she was not shooting that gun. Like, how is she shooting that gun? So there.
You talking about Rose McGowan or somebody else?
Yes, how was she shooting the gun?
I loved it, though.
No! She can't
You didn't
reach
like
the
it?
trigger.
You didn't like
How
it?
can she shoot the gun?
No! It was so cool, though. It was different.
Cabin in the Woods. If you haven't seen it, watch Cabin in the Woods. That's definitely a recommendation of mine. Some people, I don't know how many people have seen it. I have no context for that.
I don't either. It's one of those things we're big, like, fans of, and so it doesn't come up all the time. Do you have something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to recommend 2 other things real quick. The Monster Squad is a classic 80s film. If you like the Goonies, check out The Monster Squad. I love it. And also, for a movie that actually just has a lot of scenes with just 2 people talking and not a lot of monster moments.
Yeah.
Gina Davis and Goldblum in The Fly is, I think it's one of my favorite films. I mean, it's they are great actors.
Once again, kind of that medical thing that gives me the terrors.
It's crazy. It's a great film.
And his slow, just almost brutally slow transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, check out Every Day this month. Ricardo, of course, is doing Rick's.
If we find him.
Rick's.
Oh,
I know it's not Rick's Picks. It's like Rick's.
It's Rick's
Flicks.
Rick's Flicks.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
He's got a thing.
Hopefully he's okay. We haven't seen him, but we've had stuff up every day. You know, he'll turn up when he's hungry.
Leave some food out for him.
Also, a lot of stuff in the comments is great. We, Cabin in the Woods, Sound Off, The Monster from Connor. Bad Times at the El Royale was directed by who?
I don't remember, but I want to see it.
I don't know.
It's so bad.
Sound Off. The second Ghostbusters scared some people. I thought it had creepy moments, but mostly I was laughing my head off.
I forgot to mention one film that I have not watched since I originally saw it in the theaters, Candyman. I can't watch it again. It scared the bejesus out of me. Tony Todd and Virginia Madsen, that movie, I haven't been able to watch it since. I know I need someone to dare me and shove me into a movie theater to watch that again, but I don't know if I can do it.
Also, eventually Cass and I are going to put out our own horror short we've been working on, so look forward to having a new horror short someday.
I want to be in it.
You might be. We'll talk off screen.
Bury me alive.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight, becoming super cool nerds with us. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and Instagram, really all of them under SCNS Live. I'm Kat. You can find me at BetterCat on Instagram, where I post sporadically, usually pictures of miniatures taken very close up. So it's like normal size things. What about you?
Size. I'm Bryce Culver on Facebook and Instagram, and I also have a toy Instagram page. It's called Trapdoor Toys. So if you like Migos, like that, check it out.
I'm Cass. You can find me at Cass_Bradley. That's KAS_Bradley. Right now, I am live tweeting Critical Role constantly. Jason.
Jason.
Oh, good.
Hey,
okay.
Excellent producing.
On Instagram and Twitter at JasonX. I was not playing Switch. And thank you guys for watching the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Tune in next week. And as we always say, keep
on nerding.
Watch Sleepaway Camp, too. It's really good.
Oh, also It.
Don't watch any.